it looks like we can do the kind of things we want. So. And as we rescue our economy, I will also restore our borders. We're going to restore them. You know, we had the safest borders. And would you drop, if you have it, drop my all-time favorite chart. I love this chart. I love this chart. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this chart. Where the hell? I love it. I go to sleep with it every night. I hug it and I kiss it. My wife says, what the hell are you doing with that damn chart? No, if I didn't turn to the right, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I go, bing. That chart was over there. It's always on my left. Tonight it's on my right. But it's always on my left. And it's usually at the very end, not the beginning. And it was like in the first paragraph, first sentence. And I said, let me see the chart. I was talking about how well we did with illegal immigration. And that's what came down. I looked to the right. If I didn't look to the right, I wouldn't be looking at you at all right now. So it was pretty amazing. So I love that chart, but. So if you look at the arrow on the bottom, that's when I left office. That was the day I left office. That was the lowest in the history of the border illegal immigration. That was the lowest point. We had the border fixed. It was so good. All this stupid person had to do is leave it the way it was. We had remain in Mexico. You couldn't come into the country. We had catch and release into Mexico, not into the U.S. We had everything perfect. And then they decided to just blow everything up. It was so sad. Do you think it was easy to get remain in Mexico for Mexico? Not that easy. Although they were nasty, but I was much more nasty. And they agreed. Tijuana was probably the fastest growing town in the history of the world. Tijuana was growing at levels that nobody's ever seen anything grow, and it was all in Mexico. They couldn't, and by the way, they couldn't get by. You know why? Because I built the wall. So, but that chart tells you. And look what happened as soon as I left. It looks like an Elon Musk rocket ship. Look at that. It went from the best numbers in history to the worst numbers in history. And all of those criminals started pouring in. There were criminals, massive numbers of criminals. And I said that was going to happen. I know all the guys that head all those countries. But it's much more than South America. It's from all over the world. But I know all those guys. They're very smart. They're very street smart. They're very savvy. They're like your governor. They're savvy. He's a savvy guy. You know, he has that nice way. Hey, how you doing? Hi, I'm Glenn. Hi. He's a killer. Okay? I say that affectionately. Hi, I'm Glenn. Hello, everybody. Nice guy. Oh, he's a killer. Okay, trust me. You know that's a compliment. He understands it's a compliment, but it is. He's smart. But they're smart people, and they are. They're streetwise. I said, if you have an open borders policy, every country in the world is going to drop their prisoners into our country. And that's what happened. They're criminals. They're gang members. They're drug dealers. They're terrorists. They're all in here. You know, I had in 2019, I don't even believe this number, Border Patrol numbers. They had 0 terrorists, 0. The next year they had 11. My years, 2 of my 4 years. This is after I got it really fixed and really good. Think of it, 11. That's not a lot. It's dangerous, but it's not a lot. But they actually had 0. I don't even believe that. I think somebody had it, but they had it at 0. Now you look at it, they come in by the thousands. The worst terrorists in the world are in our country, from the Middle East, from all over. And nothing good's going to happen here. Nothing good is going to happen. These people are what they've done to our country is unthinkable. It's the single biggest problem that we have. And we're going to fix this problem, and we're going to fix it fast. Thank you. Over the past 4 years, Kamala has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted on our people. She has violated her oath, eradicated our sovereign border, and unleashed an army of gangs and criminal migrants from prisons and jails, from insane asylums and mental institutions. You know who comes from the insane asylums? You know who it is, right? They always give me a hard time. Hannibal Lecter, the great Hannibal Lecter. You know the press to show you how bad they are? I'm talking about insane asylums, and then I'm talking about Hannibal Lecter. A little lighthearted humor about a very unfunny subject. And they always go, he always brings up Hannibal Lecter. What does that have to do with it? It has to do with the fact that these are the kind of people coming into our country from insane asylums. That's what it has to do. They always say, oh, he's rambling. But now most of them realize that it's the weave, and nobody else can do a weave like Trump. No. Joe Rogan said it the other day. We did a great interview. He's a great guy. And I started talking about something, and then I went to another very pertinent subject, but it was, related barely. Bing, then bing, bing, bing. And he goes, that's brilliant. That's the weave, isn't it? I said, that's the weave, Joe. But they come from Venezuela to the Congo, and they're stealing countless of American lives. I mean, they're stealing American lives. In other words, they're just killing people. These are violent people. The only thing good is they make our criminals look like nice people. These are killers, and they're just killers. You know all about MS-13. You have an MS-13 problem. I'm going to work with your governor, and we're going to get MS-13 out of Virginia within 1 month. 1 month. And you know what? She wants to defund ICE. Think of that. She wants to defund. If we didn't have ICE, I couldn't make that promise. I'll get them down here in force. They're going to clean out this state, and we're going to get them the hell out of here in 1 month. But today I want to hear directly from a mother, and I'd like you to just listen, because this is such a sad thing. This is brand new from a couple of days ago. And the people that I was in a room of people when they first put the tape on, because you have a lot to choose from. There's so much crime and so much horrible crime with the migrant crime. I call it migrant crime. And we saw that. And I had some of the toughest people, and like 75% of them were absolutely crying all over the place. These are men that probably haven't cried since they were a baby. Maybe they didn't cry even then. And they're crying all over the place. But I'd like you to take a look at this, and it's so unnecessary. It should have never happened. Please, thank you.
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning first to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that that was going to be the last time I saw her.
We're best friends. Yeah.
We're going to shake it again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound. She was strangled to death, left with no pants. And I know in my heart, she fought incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with 2 men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl.
Police say these men strangled her before dumping her into that creek. Both men were in the country illegally.
Apprehended, then released by Border Patrol less than 3 weeks before Jocelyn's death. The men accused of killing Jocelyn Nungare are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
Kamala Harris was in charge of immigration in our borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and not these catch and release policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented. Under her being vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her.
Happy birthday, dear Jocelyn.
My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter. She failed Jocelyn. She was only 12. President Trump reached out, gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, but just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
So sad, so unnecessary. Would have never happened if you had, like the chart shows you, would have never happened. What a sad, sad situation. Here today is another American mom, Tammy Nobles, and her wonderful husband, Jeremiah. 2 years ago, Tammy's 20-year-old daughter, Kayla, was found raped, tied up and strangled to death with a telephone cord in her home in Maryland. Kayla's murderer was an illegal alien, MS-13 gang member who was apprehended by Border Patrol, but under the policy of Kamala Harris, he was released into the United States to kill and kill at will. Tammy, please come up. Thank you. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. I'm really honored to be
I'm
here.
going to help it out. Thank you.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank President Trump for inviting me here today and bringing Kayla's story to all of you. He brings real people and real stories. Kayla celebrated her 20th birthday 3 days before she was murdered. She was struggling with autism and the obstacles. She finally found a job that she could do and that she could do well. She had 2 jobs. She loved animals, especially her cat Oreo. She loved going to church, and she loved God. Department of Homeland Security did not do their job. Health and Human Services did not do their job. The Biden and Harris administration did not do their job. If they would have made that one phone call to El Salvador to know that her murderer was an MS-13 gang member and had a criminal record in 2020 for illicit gang activity, my daughter would still be alive today, and he would not have been allowed to even cross this border. Health and Human Services did not verify his sponsor. Under the Biden-Harris administration, ICE refused to retain him until DNA results came back. Guess where he got to go? Child Protective Services put him in an unsecured group home with other children and enrolled him into 2 different Maryland high schools. He was in school in Maryland with other people's children, putting those children at risk. I am Kayla's voice. For those that have not voted yet, please think of Kayla and the countless others who lost their lives to an open border. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tammy. So many said, well, we're gonna do that. So many stories like that. It's you could go on all day, all night, forever. And this is just the beginning. You haven't seen anything. These people, they don't do anything. They're oblivious to it. They don't even treat the people that have been so badly hurt. They don't even call them. They don't talk to them. They couldn't care less. It's incredible, actually. I don't get it. Nobody gets it. But we will hold Kayla's memory in our hearts forever. It's a story like so many other stories. And many different forms of crime. There's gang crime taking place. There's crime that we've never seen. There's some crimes that we've never seen anything like it. They run over people in the sidewalk for sport. See that guy? I'll run him over. Watch. These people are sick. We just can't. We can't have a country like this. When you vote on Tuesday, vote in honor of Kayla and Jocelyn and Laken Riley and Rachel Morin and every American who has been stolen from us by Kamala's open border. The day I take the oath of office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. Because the United States is now an occupied country. Think of this. Think of this. With the United States, we're an occupied country. This is all over. This is in small towns. Look at our beautiful Ohio. We have Springfield where they drop 30,000 illegal migrants into a 50,000-person town. Think of it. Now just think of it. But it will be an occupied country. We will not have this no longer, and that's gonna happen very soon. We're gonna get them the hell out of here and fast. Look at Aurora in Colorado. You have a governor, unlike your governor. He's radical left. He's a lunatic. He's petrified because you have one of the toughest gangs in the world there, and they're taking over large swaths of Aurora and other places in Colorado and all over the country. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. It's going to be liberation. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program of criminals in the history of America. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered, and we will put the vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of their country. We're going to get them out of our country. And to expedite removals of Tren de Aragua. This is said to be the most vicious gang anywhere in the world, although I think MS-13 gives it an awfully good shot. And other of these savage gangs, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. And think how far back we had to go, because they ran a little different country. They ran it a little bit tougher than. We had to go back to 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I am hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. And we are going to protect our law enforcement officers. They protect us. They protect us, and we're going to protect them. We're going to protect them. And I will immediately ban all sanctuary cities in the United States of America. And despite all of the damage that Kamala has